What's up, folks? It's your man Seaniemo coming to you from the factory. Today, I just want to share my personal thoughts on the untimely passing of Robin Williams and the subject of depression. Um, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist on it, but I guess I could say that I've suffered from depression. I don't know, according to any medical person, whether what I've gone through would be considered full-blown depression or not, but I know how I feel. Um, it's sad, that it happened. I mean, of course, it's definitely sad that you know a person such as him has taken their life, but it's real. It's amazing that in the midst of everything that is publicly known and privately known, through all that he went through, this guy still found a way to keep people like you and I laughing and happy all the time. Um, it definitely, when I think about it, for me, it reminds me of myself somewhat. Through all that I go through, I still find it important that I help people smile, and I make people laugh as best I can, and I be able to be a soundboard for those that may have something that they need to talk about to someone. And it's not easy. I've wrote numerous times before. I've said it numerous times before. The one thing that people don't understand is that we take in the energy, and I can only imagine how many people he reached out to that shared with him some things that they may have been going through and how he may have felt after the conversation. Um, it's also a shame that we've turned into a reactive society instead of a proactive society. One of the things that I noticed this morning, and I got to give a shout out to everybody at Good Day DC. The one thing that I guess stuck with me through the whole morning's broadcast is, as much as they tried to be jovial and happy and celebrate his life, they did not really talk about depression as it should be discussed. They touched on it, and I understand, you only have a certain amount of time to be able to talk about those things, but it's something that, if you look around, there is enough stuff going on happening to people every day that could cause one to be depressed. A lot of times when folks are really expressing how they feel, if you stop thinking about yourself and really pay attention to what some individuals are saying, these are calls for help. These are serious calls for help. Not every person, not every situation requires the response of, well, keep your head up, or just keep believing in God and everything is going to be okay and I'm going to pray for you. Not all of those things really helps a person. You got to understand that even though it might be you, and that's the funny part, because I was just saying this, the other day. A lot of times, folks don't want to hear that. Those people who are happy in their lives, and those people who don't have any problems, and those people who may be financially okay, don't understand what it's like to be in the other individual's shoes until it actually happens to them. And then we want everybody to rally around our flagpole and give us support because we're going through it. But look at how you respond and react to the other person that's going through it. And I mean, it's a serious, very serious, very serious issue that we need to stop brushing under the carpet. Not everyone is crazy, and I think, that's probably the stereotype that is stuck with most folks who are going through depression. We tend to respond to them like they're crazy. They tell us how they're actually feeling, and we just basically blow it off, or tell them everything is going to be okay, stop tripping, and this, that, and the fourth. And we don't understand, we don't want to understand, we don't want to accept what it is that these people are feeling. Like, it takes a lot to be able to express to an individual the problems that you're going through in a manner where they understand exactly what you're going through. And it hurts when you express what you're going through and they just blow it off and then become reactive after you take your life or something tragic happens to you. We need to get off that. We really need to get off that. I can honestly share with you that as I sit here doing this, I don't think I'm going through full-blown depression, but I can say that there are some things that are occurring where it would make me believe that I'm definitely borderline. Having to spend a great portion of my day in here by myself, dealing with the things that I'm dealing with, the lack of finances, the lack of employment, and one of the bigger things that I have now discovered is, and I want to give a special shout out to Kay Lim, just for the conversation yesterday and being able to share this with someone outside of my family. Like, my sister and my wife knows this, but to share it with someone outside my family and have them fully understand exactly where I was coming from when I said it meant so much to me. For years, and you have to know the backstory, and I don't really have the time to get into it. But for years, the one thing that I've always wanted to do was to get my mom to love me as her son. As a teenager, I did try to commit suicide. I think, I didn't really go through with it because I wanted to live, and I was scared to die, and I believed that the Creator had something bigger in plan for me, and that's why the whole scenario ended up going towards me coming through it. I spent some time in what you all would refer to as a mental ward, but it wasn't, people in there weren't crazy. People in there were going through some things. I've been in various counseling sessions, for numerous youth programs, and I learned not too long ago, after I found out exactly what the back end story was, that I wasn't really a problem child. The problem wasn't me. The problem was some things that my mom had gone through, especially as it pertained to my conception. And looking at me, being around me, reminded her of the tragic events, and it's not easy understanding that no matter what you try to do, because I've always tried to make my mom proud of me. I've always tried to get my mother to say that she actually does love me. But I understand that no matter what I do or try to do, that she's never going to love me. Like, she's never really going to love me, because of the fact that she never got help for those things that she needed help with and for. It's not easy going through life knowing that. It's not easy accepting that. And in the midst of really having to swallow that pill and digest that, I still managed to maintain being a father to my children, whom I would die for. I would take all kinds of bullets for them. Trying to be the best husband that I can possibly be. I mean, there's no written book on how to be the perfect husband. And you can't really be perfect to somebody who, for lack of a better term, doesn't even know what being a perfect person is, and that's a universal thing. I'm not just going in on one individual. I mean, like, we all strive to be perfect, but there's no written anything on what the perfect person is. Personally, the Most High and the Spirit and the Son are the only perfect people that I've ever read about. But just trying to be the best husband that I can be, it's not easy. It's a challenge. And in the midst of all of that, I still got to be the best me for me. Being the best me for me requires me having to look at myself. Look at the things that most of you don't even know about. Processing that stuff. Finding my peace within it. Some stuff you can't find peace within. But just being able to not allow those things to throw you off of a good day, of having a good day, the possibility of having a good day. It's a challenge. It's a real big challenge. Like, it's not easy having the phone ring and having some recruiter call you and talk about a possible great opportunity for you, and your mind is already in, I'm going to go to work, I need to go to work, I want to go to work, and this is going to be that call, and it ends up not being that call. It's not easy dealing with that. It's not easy dealing with, knowing that when you wake, you get up and you check your pockets and you don't have nothing in it. Like, you go to sleep and there's nothing in it, and you wake up and there's nothing in it. It's not easy just dealing with those things. It's not easy at all. It's not easy having people tell you, yeah, I got you, and yeah, I'm going to look out for you, and they don't. It's not easy dealing with that stuff. Those are things that can really make a person depressed. And when we men, and I want to let you know something, I'm not a doctor, but I've been there. And I know some folks who are there now that won't admit that they're there. And what they do is they act it out. And we don't pay attention to the pattern. Men tend to blow it off and say, well, yeah, you know what, man, you a soldier, you a survivor, everything gonna be all right. But they say that because they're not the ones going through it, and behind your back they're probably going, thank God I don't have to deal with that. And then all of a sudden, when something tragic happens to you, well, all he had to do was pick up the phone and call me. All he had to do was just come up here. I had him. That's bullshit. You know it is. You sit on your hands, and then all of a sudden, when it's time, when it's too late, then all of a sudden you was there, and that's not cool. And I can only wonder, how many people actually knew that this guy was really going through something, and how many people really did reach out to him and try to help, versus those who thought he was just joking, thought just because he could get on stage and in front of a TV camera or a movie camera and make people laugh that he was alright, but wasn't paying attention to the fact that he wasn't. We need to stop being a reactive society and start being a proactive society. There are enough things that are going on that are pointing to the fact that some of us out here really are sending out a call for help, just as much as there are some of us who are in position to answer that call. We got to stop brushing stuff off and start really paying attention to it. Stop acting like just because you a dude that you can't feel nothing. We got to pay attention to this stuff before it's too late. There are a lot of things, just pay attention to the signs. So to Robin Williams, through it all, I admire how you managed to do what it was that you was blessed and gifted to do. You remind me of myself a lot. And how you put up your best fight to deal with what it was that you had to deal with within yourself. I would want to hope that your soul can now rest just as much as your spirit can be at peace. Folks, we need to stop turning a blind eye and really pay attention to the signs. If you know somebody that shows a pattern of seriously being depressed, don't turn your back on them. Help them out. They aren't going to tell you that they are. But if you see the patterns and you see the signs, do an intervention, get them some help, do something before it's too late. That's just my 2 cents, man. Y'all have a good day, alright?